Hi everybody, this is Danielle and today I am going to make these beautiful, gorgeous daffodils. Look at that, aren't they pretty? You can do them in yellow and white, you can do them in orange if you want, you can even sparkle them or do whatever you want once you've made them. You can make them without a leaf or with a leaf. This leaf is a bit different and it's wrong, so I did that leaf. But the white with the yellow is beautiful. So moving swiftly on to things that you will need. You will need some elastic bands to hold your project together while it is being glued, and you will need a pencil to draw your leaves and everything. You will need a skewer or something to roll your stem, but this one has got quite a sharp point on it. Just cut the sharp point off and use a blunt end. This has also got a blunt end, so I will be using the blunt end. And some scissors to help you cut out, and a ruler to help you measure. I've also got a ruler along my mat, but you might not have that, so you might just need a normal common garden ruler. And if you have glue stick, you might have some PVA glue, which is like school glue. Feel free to use that. Then we've got some coloured card. Now you don't have to use the coloured card, but if you can, you've got green for the stem, you've got yellow for the petals. You can also use white for the petals. And if you want to spend some time colouring in, if you've only got white card, you can colour in the card so that you can have yellow petals with orange tips or anything you wish. Have a look online at daffodils and you can create any daffodil that you would like. And this is just some scrap paper which will help us create our stencils. So now you don't have to use scrap paper, you could use newspaper or any kind of paper that you can cut out a stencil just to help you get the neat and right thing before you carry on. Okay, moving on guys. Okay everybody, so where do we start? We start with our scrap paper and our pencil, and we're going to roughly draw a petal shape. So I'm going to come down to the corner because I don't want to waste it. Even though it's scrap paper, I don't want to waste it. I might need some later on. So I'm going to come down here and draw a petal or leaf shape. Now if you don't like the shape, this is why it's best to be on scrap paper. You just keep drawing around it until you're happy with the shape. If it's too big, you just make it a bit smaller. And again, unhappy with the shape, just make it more what you want it to look like. So that's why scrap paper is best, because you can play with that as much as you want and you're not going to worry about it. Once you have made your stencil, this is going to be stencil number 1, you then cut it out. So lucky for you guys, I have already cut out a stencil and I've written stencil 1 on it. We need to make a stencil with 3 leaves on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the corner. Again, we don't want to overuse our paper. You could use it near the other one that you've just cut out. But like I say, this is just scrap paper. I'm not too worried about it. Could be a newspaper, could be anything. Just draw a nice thick line so that you can see what you're doing. And then I'm going to attach it on a slight angle here. And you'll see why in a bit. So again, drawing around it. It doesn't matter if you draw on the stencil, that's why it's a stencil. Doopy-doo. And then I'm going to put a third one just on this side. Okay, once you've got that, this is stencil number 2. And again, we cut out stencil number 2. And again, it's still in paper. So this is now stencil 2. If you're happy with your stencils, you can get rid of stencil 1. If you're unhappy with your stencil, you can redraw and cut it out again. Now, the reason we've done stencil 1 and stencil 2 is because we need a harder stencil so that we get nice outlines and we don't rip it so much. So we take stencil 2 and we get some card. We draw around stencil 2, cut that out and get stencil 3. Stencil 3 is then a nice hard stencil that you can use to draw around to start making your flowers. Okay, so stencil 3 made out of proper card, a little bit raised, and again, as you can see, you can still draw on it. Now with stencil 3, what I've done is curved those middle bits. So if I just bring stencil 2 back for a minute, you'll see that it's very pointy, and that can make it a bit flimsy and it can break and rip. So what I've done is I've just rounded those middle bits off so that I make a bigger gap in the centre that I can stick to with some glue later on. So again, we draw around this. You might draw in the white, or you might draw around it in the yellow. And then you are going to need 2 of these. So 2. So if I show you 2 of these. Ta-da! Anybody would think I was sitting here making all these things. Once you have 2 of these things, you will notice that one side still has some pencil markings on it. I'm just going to turn that away, so that will be underneath. And then I want my petals to sit one on top of the other like this. So what I will do is I will get some glue, pop it in the middle there, stick those together, and then I'm going to leave them on the side just to dry. Now you can reposition this as much as you want until you're happy with it, because it's quite slidey, the glue. Once you're ready, you just pop it on the side and leave it to dry. So far we have done the petal part. Now we need the trumpet part. That's this top bit here. Okay, so we're going to do the trumpet part. Now to do the trumpet part, again, you can choose what colour you want. So you might choose the nice yellow for the trumpet, or you might have a white trumpet. It's entirely up to you. Now the trumpet part is going to be 11 centimetres by 5 centimetres. So, like I say, on here, on my mat, I have a nice ruler. So I'll go up to the number 11. So I'll put my corner right next to 0. I go up to the number 11 and I make a little mark like that. Okay. Now, the numbers are not 1 to 0 from here. So what I can do for this with my mat, if you notice the numbers are here, what I can do, if I just pull my mat to centre, I can take the corner up to the 5. Knock the camera a little bit. I can take the corner up to the 5 and then mark off at the 0. Or, if you have just a ruler, you can put the number 1 or the 0 at the corner, count up to the 5 and put a little mark in it. So it's up to you how you do that. Not everybody has one of these cutting mats here. Once you've done that, you'll need your ruler to then make that into a box. So, to make a straight line, you've already got your mark on this side, and so long as you've got a nice straight piece of paper, you should be able to mark up to 11 and then mark from there down to there. And all you're going to do then is cut this out using your scissors. Go along the line and cut this out. And there we have it. It doesn't have to be perfect. My cutting is not perfectly standard, but it does the job. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold approximately, it is approximate, I won't worry about it too much, 1 centimetre up. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to get your scissors and you're going to snip along up to the fold. These can be as big or as small as you want. Don't worry about it too much. This is where the glue's going to go. Nobody's going to see this unless they're looking really hard inside your flower to try and find it. Slippy. And then we're going to need our scissors again to cut a wavy line at the top. Now I'm going to do this off camera because I do find it quite hard to cut while I have a camera in front of my face. So I'm just going to go off camera and cut a wibbly wobbly line at the top. And we're back with our nice wibbly wobbly line. Okay, and we're going to turn this into a tube, just like this. Now make sure that the bottom of your tube lines up and it's approximately a centimetre that you're going to stick down on. So again, get your glue stick. I'm just going to put some glue on the end here. There we go. And then I'm going to make it into that circle and line up the bottom. Oh, again, camera getting in my way. I apologise. So just lining that up there. Now, if you feel it's not going to stick, I have those elastic bands. And all I'm going to do is pop my elastic band round just a couple of times to keep my tube in place while that sticks together. So the glue will stick together eventually. So we're just going to put that on the side and let it dry. I am going to leave that there for now and call that the end of part 1. Wait for part 2. So part 2, here we go. So you are going to need the middle bit now of your flower. So you can see in there, that's the middle bit of your flower. Okay, so to do the middle bit of the flower, you are going to need a piece of scrap paper that is 14 centimetres by 5 centimetres. So you would get your scrap page, which we drew on earlier, and you would do the same as what we did before, marking along. If you've got a corner, you can put the corner to the corner. If not, start from 0, work up to 14. And again, from those marks, get your ruler and mark up to the 5 centimetres. So from there up to the 5 centimetres. And then you're just going to draw your box mark to mark. And then get the scissors and cut that out. Which then gives us this. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, we're going to put this in half. Now it's up to you if you want to make yourself a little mark or something like a line across the top. So you might want to say about that size. It doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but what we're going to do now is we're going to cut into it lots of little cuts, and you don't want to go any further than the mark that you've made. So I just do this. So you're just going to go, you don't have to go up to the mark either, it can be a little bit shorter, so long as you're cutting like a fringe all the way along. Oops. Oh, I went past my mark. Don't panic. It's not going to cut in half. It's fine. Oh, that went wonky. It doesn't matter. You do what suits you. So long as you end up with a little fringe as you go along. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how long, how thin, how thick. It's just a little fringe all the way along. I'm going to continue that to the end. And once you've finished, it should look something like this. I'm then going to open this out. And you should have lots of little cuts along there. And then what we're going to do is on this line that you drew before, we're going to get some glue. And we're going to glue along the line. Glue, 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 glue. And put plenty on there. So just along the edge there, and then what we're going to do is we are going to fold it the wrong way over. Just stick that down. So it ends up looking like little hoops, and you're going to start at one end with some glue to set it off, and we're going to roll. So I'm going to roll. Now, keep an eye on the flat end. You want to keep that together as much as you can. So you're keeping this end with the nice straight line together as much as you can. That's easier said than done, as you can see. Twirly, whirly, twirly, whirly. Ignore the other end, it doesn't matter. The other end will come out a big fluffy fluff ball. When you get to here, you want to put some glue on there. Ooh, the glue's gone in. Sunken glue. And you're going to just stick the end there. Fluff that out. Look at that. Beautiful. That's the middle of your flower. One moment. And I have put an elastic band on it to keep the glue together. There we go. So I'm going to put that to one side while I go through the stem with you. To make the stem, you are going to need your green card. I would fold the card this way, nice and lined up, and then fold it. And then I would fold the card this way. And then I would use one of the rectangles, because this is a piece of card that I cut out earlier. One of the rectangles, which is a corner down this end, to make the stem. Now you'll also notice that I've made one of my corners the leaves. So I'm just going to cut those leaf bits off. And there we have it. So this is going to be your stem, and this is going to be a leaf later on. So we shall get rid of the leaf green, and we shall have the stem. And you remember that piece of wood I had earlier, the skewer, and I'm going to use that. And I'm using the dull end, not the pointy end. And I'm going to roll it. Rolling. Now, I find the beginning the hardest part of this. So whatever technique you have, if you have a better technique for getting the rolling started, let me know. Because I'm really rubbish at rolling. But once I've got it, it's like a rolling pin. You just keep going. Keep going. Rolling, rolling. Oh, my mat's moving. That'll be why it's harder than before. My mat's coming with me. I think there must be glue on my mat. Do. going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. Once you've rolled, you can make your roll as tight as you wish. I quite like to wind mine up a bit tighter afterwards. And there you have your stem. Quite nice and easy, really, just to roll and go. So for your stem, you're going to take your glue and you're going to put a load on the inside here. Make sure you put plenty on. Give it a good squeeze, a little wrap around. And then take your elastic band. It's my final elastic band because I knew I needed 3. And wrap it around nice and tightly to hold the glue in place. And leave that to dry for a little bit. And then we're going to make the leaves. So to make the leaves, it's fairly easy. I'm going to make 2 leaves. And all you're going to do is at the top, is make a little arch at the top there. And again, do that on the other one. You can make them any way you like. And just leave them like that. And then we're going to cut this out. So we're going to cut down this centre line here and cut out the M shape at the top there. So again, I'm going to cut off camera because it does take me some time to cut. And you should get this nice pencil shape. And we can use our pencil to wrap it around so it goes a little bit curly. And then don't take it all the way to the top, because what I want you to do is find part way down and just rub. It's a bit like when you rub a ribbon and you get it a little bit curly. And that is your leaf that's going to go onto the stem. And I'm just going to do this with the other one. So again, curling and then go from a little bit up and just give it a rub. And again, 2 leaves. Ooh, the excitement. There we go. Let's bring all of our flower parts back to the centre. Oops. Not the camera there. That would have been fun. Okay, so these are all your flowers parts. We've made each and every one of these. Remember, you can pause the video at any time so that you can make, cut out, stick, glue, whatever you want, and then follow along. So first things first, check that your trumpet is not going to fall apart. It's not going to fall apart. It's all good. So what we're going to do is this bit is going to go on top of our flower, like so. So to do that, we're going to need glue. Plenty of glue. So get your glue and start gluing those little bits at the bottom there. Put plenty on. If you've got PVA glue, this is a bit quicker, but it takes longer to dry. So it's, you know, depends on what you want to use. Now I'm going to use this as the bottom of the flower, and I'm just going to do that as the top. Now inside, I'm going to have to pop my finger in and push those little bits down because they do stick up a little bit. So we're going to push them down. Once you've pushed them down, it should be nice and flat against your flower. Now, you can't really put this type of glue on the bottom. You can put it on there, but it doesn't really do much, which is where your PVA glue comes in, or glue that's a little bit gloopier, a little bit gloopy on the glue. So here, we can't really see it with the light. Go down a bit, see if I can do that. So here it is with the gloopy glue on it. Now, this is quite hard to put in by your fingers alone, but with the gloopy glue, it's not too bad. So once it's there, just keep your finger on it for a little bit so that it doesn't fall over. and this is going to take a little while to dry, so we're just going to pop that on the side. And we're going to put the leaves on the stem. So I always use the point as the back of my stem. I'm going to put some glue on these leaves. Like so. And then you'll see I've got an elastic band at the ready on the side. Now you can put these leaves as low or as high as you want them to be. So you might put one lower than the other. Just make sure that you wrap them round the way you want them. And then get your elastic band and wrap it around, round and around and around, nice and tight to hold that together. And that's your stem with your leaves. Exciting stuff. So we're going to leave this a few minutes and come back. Okay, so bringing in these pieces again, we're going to curl the petals up. So what you're going to do first is you're going to just fold them up, nice and easy, fold them to the centre, and then we're going to curl them. I'm going to use my finger, or you could use the pencil like we did before with the leaves. I'm going to curl them just with my finger like this, give them a little pinch, and then the back three as well. I'm going to pinch them and fold them up. Pinch this one and fold it up, give it all a little cuddle in the middle. There we go, and that gives your flower a little bit more movement. It doesn't look as flat. And then we're going to cut into the stem, 3 little cuts. And then we can open these bits out, and that gives your flower a base to stick to. Okay, so we're just going to add all the glue on to the stem. Put a lot on, get as much on there as you can. And then we're going to stick that on to the flower. Make sure you've got a lot of contact paper to paper. Make sure it's all sticking. And once that is stuck, you can take the elastic band off the stem and you will have a beautiful daffodil, like the ones that I was showing you before. So nice and easy, lovely daffodils, and you can display them. And here they are, beautiful display of homemade daffodils for Easter, for presents, for fun, for an Easter bonnet, anything you want. I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I've loved making them. Enjoy making your own. Bye for now.